All right, guys, we are live Friday evening on the Independent Investor Channel live stream. What a week it has been. Well, it's been one of the busiest weeks for me. Profession, investing was there, certainly doing its thing. I wish everybody the best. Thank you so much for making your way into the live stream here, Fastest 60 Minutes on YouTube. No doubt about it. It's my time to sell out, release, talk about my absolute favorite topic, which is indeed the investing game. What does it mean here on the independent investor opportunity? The word independent really says it all. I started this project about 5 years ago, really to push out a message that I thought would resonate with people, would level the playing field for people, and broaden the reach. I felt like there was a lot of people that needed the opportunity to be introduced to the idea of independent investing. Okay, make no mistake, not all investing is made equal. And I think what we strive to do is we really strive to break down barriers, water down concepts, though anybody that really has a heartfelt desire to seek out the investing opportunity and find more about what it could mean for them, we strive toward that. Then nobody's perfect. Okay, there is no perfect application. There is no perfect investor out there. Okay, there's a lot of claims that a lot of people have the answers and they try to sell you on that. I'll be the first to tell you that that's just not true. What's going to be the best for you is what is going to make the most sense for you, right? And as Rebecca says here, this Carfunkel works, right? And who knew? A lot of people didn't know, just like me, where I was brought to self-directed investing around the 34, 35 years old time frame. And had I had this information in my early 20s, the sky would have been the limit. But that's not how life works. Okay, life is not a yellow brick road. It's not. You're gonna go through pits and perils and trials, and you're gonna have some successes, and you're also gonna have some failures. It's really how you come out of it. I can say that, in all honesty, a lot of the very most beautiful things that I've been able to achieve in life come out of some very, very dark places. Okay, how I met my wife, how I got my career, how I ended up doing some of the things that I was able to do, somewhat out of sheer desperation in some cases. And it's that much more rich when you come out on the other side and you taste the light, how good it can actually be when you come from those places. And I know there's people out there for sure that do indeed, they struggle a little bit with the application, try to identify some meaning as to why you do this. Here's an idea for you. Do it for you. Okay. Don't do it because somebody's got you motivated to do it. Don't do it because you see a specific result on YouTube that you're looking to strive toward. Okay. I threw the artificial number of $82 million portfolio out there, really to draw a disconnect between the surprise of what people get when they get in here and they start to hear 60 minutes of honest, forthright and validatable information that I push through on stock market investing. And I think all too often, I think the size of your wad, unfortunately, is meant to determine your level of credibility. And I don't believe in that. I don't believe that the world is capable of producing that type of criteria. I don't. And we always try to foot stomp what this could mean at the granular level. I've got a pretty awesome rollout tonight for you guys of some portfolio elements that I say all the time that the investing topic is infinite. And if there's any takeaways from my live stream that you may want to just say, what is this about? I'm a little interested in this. He's got the Greek god on his thumbnail. This ought to be interesting. What is in it for me? And that's really the question for you is how can I take the elements of portfolio building 101 and apply it to my life? And if you want to be changed in your investing application and approach, Stick with this message, okay? Give it a few minutes, all right? Give it the entirety of the live stream, and I can guarantee at the end of it, I will do one of two things. Either one, I will have run you off of the channel. Number two, I will have strike a chord with you and made you think about some things that maybe you hadn't thought about. Maybe you had a perception or an idea about investing that maybe we can dispel some notions for you. And I dig into my experience and I try to provide those elements of truth to you on what really work. Now, the pillars of what works within portfolio building and application are applicable across the board. What's not going to be applicable is the actual dollar amounts and the actual products within each of the accounts. We'll talk about that as we go forward. But if at the end of this live stream you don't look back and say, "Holy freak, this is incredible stuff, man." This is really what we're trying to do, is get to those folks out there that may be catching the live stream for the very, very first time. And if you are, I'll be the first to say congratulations. Absolutely, because this information can be life changing. It can change your discipline, not only with your financial stewardship and your application, but it'll be something that you look to put higher on the priority list in your life, and it can impact your approach to things, how you appreciate things, how you look at other items, what type of time you spend devoted to certain projects, where you find value in life. Those are the important things. And if you can get this stuff right as soon as you can in your life, the better off you will absolutely be. So I'd like to welcome everybody to the live stream. We've got a full jam-packed show for you guys. I will get to the Q&A at the end of the session, guys. I'll welcome everybody, and it's great to see you guys. Been applying this project on the Independent Investor channel for a while now. We've made some noted improvements. I've evolved in my application, certainly. At the last thing that I want to be known for is changing who I am. That's something I refuse to do. Now, I've evolved in my delivery and application of this message. Absolutely. We roll through a lot of different elements of the channel that are make it a lot more dynamic for me in my application on the Independent Investor channel. We do a lot of things, and I would love to invite you guys to check out those. I usually do just a couple seconds to let you know that we've worked very hard over the last 5 years putting opportunity out there, and I have people who reach out to me all the time behind the scenes. They're not into YouTube. Neither am I. It's great. Like, "Hey, Ryan, can you help me?" The answer is yes. Yes, we can. We can level the playing field for those folks, and interesting people from all walks of life, and made possible by the different content delivery methods that we push out on the channel. Of note, the podcast, which is something that I'm really excited to focus more of my attention on. The 10-minute videos obviously have taken somewhat of a hiatus. Maybe that has to do with me spending a lot more time at the pool and coaching my kid in soccer than sitting here having an orgasm out of the mouth for 10 minutes on YouTube to try to make a bunch of people happy that I don't even know, that probably don't even appreciate the message. I give kudos to the folks that have made their way into the live stream tonight, absolutely, that actually appreciate my efforts in rolling out what is aimed to be educational. It's aimed to be motivation, and it is aimed to be thought-provoking. And those elements in a lot of different capacities are some that a lot of different people out there do not resonate with. They don't like to be told what to do. I'm partially in that camp. I am. I don't like to be told what to do. I don't. So you need to win me over. At the end of the day, I don't owe you anything. Okay. I do this on my own accord. It's for those people like Eric Weber, who's part of my community here, who makes his way in every single week and says, "Hey, Ryan, we appreciate what you mean." That means the world to me. It really does. It's also for those investors out there that maybe in their early 20s and they're really just looking for some information on how someone like myself can provide those little granular nuggets that they can take for AC in their own lives. Okay. And if at the end of a 60-minute live stream, I've done hundreds of these, I don't keep track. It's not important. It's in the past. I'm a forward thinker. I would deploy you to do the same. Be forward thinking in your application. I talk to some people all the time and I can see the deer in the headlights. What? I can't imagine what I'm going to be doing tomorrow, Ryan. How am I supposed to understand where I'm going to be in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? I don't know. Play with me a little bit. All right. You will be there. Okay. Imagine the decision point that when you're at 5 years and you're reflecting on the decisions that you're making now in your life, how are you going to feel about them? Are you setting yourself up for regret, success, failure, short-term wealth? I don't know. And there, like I said, there is no yellow brick road in life, man. There is just those decisions. But I would suggest that you take a few pages out of my playbook and deploy a lot of different wealth building strategies. We're going to roll through the portfolio review this time. This should be one of the most enjoyable elements of the live stream, and here's why. You can see how different elements of the portfolio, that of which we're going to get a little bit more into in depth, where I roll out the percentages of passive, dividend, and higher growth elements in the portfolio, how I have those strategically broken up in the percentages represented in the portfolio. But the real takeaway for you guys is to understand, how can I take $500 and deploy something similar to what Ryan's got? And I'll speak about the tiers on how you can enter into the market in a passive capacity. And for the majority of people, that can be the standalone method to success in stock market investing. It can be what you can do for the rest of your life and succeed at doing it. I'm a realist. What ends up happening is two things. And these, one of them I hope happens, the other one I hope doesn't happen. What I don't want to see is people looking at the passive opportunity and saying, it's not good enough for me. I want more. And they go for the AMCs and the sexy stocks, the Bitcoin cryptocurrency right away, which there's no problem with that. Okay, you can make money doing it. You can also lose a lot of money. And if you don't have the ability to properly assess the risk that is involved with entering the market in such a capacity too prematurely, you stand the greatest risk of really disappointing yourself and kind of skinning yourself, in that you probably won't want to invest again. Okay. What I want to see happen in the investor's evolution is to get involved passively and get yourself used to seeing your dollars fluctuate up and down. Okay. Let yourself get used to it. Once you get used to it and you start to define that risk tolerance, then absolutely, at some point when it makes sense to you and your family, you can start to look at what some of these additional layers or even some additional accounts, i.e. buckets, could look like for you. What type of strategic opportunities may be out there. Shoot, dare I say, options. I'm killing it. It just, if I hadn't been so hungry in pursuing the options opportunity, I would have been missing out right now. And it's just that simple. And I always operate that way on a forward thinking mentality. I never really stop to smell the roses. I really don't stop to wonder how much I missed out on Wish. Thanks, Matt. I don't typically do that. And perhaps maybe it's my quick acknowledgement to say, that would have been nice. But I don't do that. I don't do that. I've evolved to a better place, and I would encourage each and every one of you guys to look to get to that place. It takes time, and I still fine tune my risk tolerance to the market fluctuation all the time, and it's an ever evolving thing. So that passive element that you start, it's not as if you need to just get used to it and then discard it. It just means that you'll continue to fund that up over time and then introduce additional strategic elements to the portfolio as you get older, as your portfolio grows, perhaps maybe as the income it grows within the household. Okay, those life changes happen and you need those additional strategic buckets to accept some of those windfalls that sometimes happen in our lives. So very, very important. With that, we'll jump into the weekly portfolio reviews. Again, this should be pretty cool because there's a lot that I roll out here in these portfolio reviews. I'll explain it as we go through. This is the taxable brokerage account, one of the elements that's outside tax protection. So it is a taxable brokerage account. I can contribute to this anytime. I mentioned swing trading out of Amazon, and I just threw out there last week, not to toot my own horn. If it goes down $100, I'll buy it again. That's what happened. Anyway, Amazon's back in the portfolio, 5 shares strong there. Not any additionals. Some things to note here. I do give an indication through the graph, either up or down, week over week. This is just kind of fun. It's also at the same token irrelevant in stock market talk. When you're talking weekly and daily moves and even month to month, really, it's irrelevant. It's fun to talk about, and it's super, super sexy to grow a YouTube channel. But in the investing realm, it really doesn't matter at all. Okay. You'll notice that these consistencies remain in some form or fashion in the portfolio from week to week. Okay. If you go back a couple years on the Independent Investor channel, you'll basically just see some elements of fundamental investing, but the portfolio has evolved, it's matured, the size of these positions have also grown, and we'll continue to grow those positions out. But nice to have the VTI up to 100 shares. That's really nice. And then the VPU, which is the utilities specialty ETF, really complements this. Now, you don't see the triple Qs. I actually took profit in the brokerage account, and I actually rolled it into the Roth. I thought that that was a better strategic fit as I'm looking to go ahead and build up the triple Qs to complement my VYM holding within my Roth. You'll see that when we get to that. All right. So 111,539 there, and did quite well, up week over week in all the accounts. So that was nice. We were up about $10,000 week over week. So whatever. I said last Friday we were either going to be up or we were going to be down. It just so happened that we had a pretty good week this week in the market. It was pretty nice up across the board all the way. Nothing too crazy. I upped my position in Facebook. I added McDonald's here, which was an upgrade of that position, 25 shares in this. I actually liquidated it in the other Roth and then just bought it back here, 5 more shares. So took profit there. I wanted to leverage that profit somewhere else, and I thought that one of the best discretionary names behind Amazon, 2 completely different plays in discretionary really complement each other, and I like to own them both. I really do. So that's what we've got here. This portfolio is looking fine. I think the WFC, which was taken down into a big swoon, I've added back in just a 25 share starting position there. But nothing too crazy here. Everything's chugging right along like a little choo-choo train. A toot-toot-toot-toot. That's the Roth IRA number 1. That's tax protected. We'll talk about that as well when we get into the elements discussion of the live stream tonight. So if you guys have questions, please leave it in the thread. I'm going to spend a good majority of this live stream addressing questions. Okay, so here's Roth IRA number 2. This is mine. This is the account that started it all. This is the one that made me famous. I'm just kidding. Okay, the disconnect between the thumbnail and who I actually am and what I deliver week to week should be astonishing. We upped the Google position. We upped that to 5 shares here, so a nice cool $12,500 into the googly. Very cool. And nothing else too crazy. ExxonMobil is running away from itself. You guys would be proud of me at how deep a water I took ExxonMobil because of my conviction in the company. Ooh, that's paying off. Ooh-wee. It's a big one. That's a big one. Salesforce, nothing to shake. We upped the position to Raytheon Technologies. to 50 shares. OGN, I'm taking a bath on. That's really nice. That's really nice. Off 10% there in that name. But you see they're added in the triple Qs. But nothing too crazy. Nice, well-rounded portfolio here. I'm obviously very, very excited about my conviction about Alibaba coming back off. It's traded really well for the last couple of days. So it's come off its base, looking like a 210 entry was a good one, you bet, to grab one of those fine large cap growth companies. So I'm really satisfied with my big growth. That's my mega cap growth stuff. And I've got this portfolio really dialed in the way that I want it. So I'm very excited about that. If you have any questions about the portfolios, I roll these out in detail, but I am going to do portfolio percentage allocation. Oh God, for you beginning investors, perhaps maybe you didn't know what I just said. I'll try to explain it. Okay. It'll be a lot of fun. I'll show you guys how I deploy my pillars. And this is for me, but there are some real nuggets for you guys to take away and deploy, put to work for yourself as we're looking to level the playing field, right? Between retail investors and everybody else out there who wants to stomp their foot on you, keep you down. I want to keep the little man down. I'm an advocate. And yes, this SHIT does work, doesn't it, Rebecca? It does. And it's scalable. That's the beauty of it, right? I think if I had to come on and sell you on an image that I am not, I think I'd have a really hard time with that. Matter of fact, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. What I am trying to sell you on, I'm just not a very good salesman, is the fact that this stuff does in fact work. It does. There are different levels of risk application that you need to kind of understand between, building a 30 stock portfolio or just buying the indexes outright. Okay. But I do want to differentiate on this live stream for you guys, especially some of the new folks, visitors to the message, the difference between an independent investor application and one that you could potentially receive through the financial planning institutions. All right. These are the 11 sectors of the S&P 500 here. This was somewhat of an exploratory opportunity for me through M1 Finance to invest in all of the 11 sectors of the S&P 500. I've done that successfully. This account is up a $5,000 bill. Nothing to shake a stick at. There's a lot of people out there, scalability, that just heard what I said, and they're like, dang, $5,000 on this little portfolio? That's pretty impressive. If you think that it's impressive, you're right. It is. It is. No bells and whistles. No yelling and screaming. No orgasm at the mouth. None of that noise. No, just good old honest results. There it is. Can they apply to me? Yes, they can. That's the beauty of it. Okay. I roll out my message for all out there who will appreciate the message, want to come on, and through these are actual numbers. These aren't made up. I could make them up. That's YouTube for you. I can make up anything I want, right? That's the beauty of it. 82 million. Yeah. $82 million portfolio. I have a program that actually has me locked at 27,200 subscribers. I actually have about 12 million subscribers on the Independent Investor channel. Does that increase my credibility? I'll leave that one alone. Here's the dividend portfolio. This is pretty awesome. This is a cool way of investing, man. I chronicle these in detail. I roll out the individual holdings through the M1 Finance rollouts that I do. It's a really cool way of investing. I enjoy it. It adds to the dividend portfolio element that I'm going to talk about, which represents, a certain percentage of the portfolio, which is super important to me. So when certain elements of the market are working, I can look across to my strategic elements or my strategic buckets and really earmark those elements that worked this week. It was kind of a across the board, everything worked well. But during a down market, you'll find that sometimes that passive element will either work or not work from week to week, if that's your thing, and you really want to monitor the account activity and validate for yourself and make sure that you are not crazy by engaging in an investing opportunity and a wealth building program and strategy. for yourself. Is this guy for real, man? Can I do this too? Is it scalable? Man, these seem like pretty crazy results this guy's getting, man. No, you can do it too. Very, very simple. And I won't yell and scream at you. I'll just tell you that you can do it. And if that's not motivating enough, then I've done everything that I can possibly do. So this is the TSP 52,445, not too shabby. That PIP 4332, I couldn't even believe it, man, when I saw it. But for a lot of government workers out there, I know there's 8 trillion in assets tied up in this government retirement program per se for military and government employees alike. So I know there's folks out there that can benefit from seeing my allocation. 75, 15, 10, baby. That's the magic pedigree right there. I want the lion's share in the C fund. Nice low cost index funds. Is it the greatest thing since sliced bread? I don't know if I'd go that far. That's kind of why I do what it is that I do with this, and I don't pay much attention to it. I don't. Yeah, it's I allow this to work, which allows me time to do other things with my time. Okay, if that makes sense to you guys. Some interesting options action to talk to you guys about the 5s at 10s. So those are the highly on long calls. I have 2 sets of those contracts. 5 at a 10 strike. Those are obviously in the money. Those are worth 1,000 now. I could sell back the premium, make a cool $1,000 on those. I won't. I keep those long. Those are out to 2023 January. So sometimes I explain certain opportunities in the market. If you pay attention, are like shooting fish in a barrel. That's what this was. 8s at 1250. Those are obviously right on the cusp of in the money. They're still worth $1,000 on those too. So 8 at the 1250. It'd be fun. I'll chronicle those when the highly on meter goes to 100. That'll be fun. But had some put contracts roll off today. Made some money there. I've made just a pile of money on the put contracts that I'm writing on Hyliion. I look at it this way. Look, man, if it's going to go to 9 again, I'll just buy it again. It's that simple. I don't think it will. I think we're done. Hyliion's going to enter into the Russell 2 and 3 on Monday. It's gonna shake things up a little bit, maybe. Anyway, we'll see. I don't really care one way or the other about those singular activities, but to deny it as being something that's monumental would be somewhat short-sighted, I think. Is it going to drive the stock? I don't know. Some different schools of thought. I've talked to a few people that I know and I respect. We'll see. It doesn't really matter. I'm long the stock anyway, which makes investing in it easy, to be honest with you. So the cash secured puts there, I've got some that roll off in July. I've been rolling them every 30 days. Usually Friday is my expiry. And then I've got my 750 puts on Wish, which that's my only hold to the stock now that I did sell out of Wish. I swung trade it 3 times. The one biggest swing trade opportunity ran up that one day. That was a $1,200 just like melt up. That was cool. We took that profit off the table, and hey, you win some, you lose some. I don't ask the what ifs very often, and I have a very, very short memory when it comes to the stock market investing and rendering of profits. This is still pending, kind of weird. I don't have much to say about this. Hopefully this shakes loose so I can chronicle it. In the meantime, Bitcoin is going down to nothing. So what the hell? I'll just continue to wait on this and wait till Bitcoin gets down to like 50 cents a piece and buy like 10,000 of them just to say that I did. Hey, they were at some point worth $58,000. I don't know. Whatever. This is a very, very minute element to the portfolio. So anyway, yep. And there's the bottom line there, 82 million. What you see there is a facade. It's not actually what you see there. It's actually 82 million. So I would expect you to respect the beast at 82 million for sure. It's big. You could take the cumulative value of all the YouTube portfolios and put them together, and they still don't add up to my 82 million. No, I'm just kidding. $5.29 there. We're working on it. We'll get there someday. Like I said, I don't expect to be dubbed anything special or detracted from. In all reality, I'm pretty proud of the amount of wealth that we have at this juncture, at this particular time in life, and we'll continue to build going forward. Nothing too crazy, but also nothing to shake a stick at either. All right, very cool. So let's get to let me pull that off the board here. My $5.29 portfolio. I don't even know why you guys watch me. Honestly, a whole lifetime to build up enough to buy a number, not even a number one anymore. Number one is like $7.89. I buy it for my son all the time. He's into the Big Mac medium with a Coke. He loves it, right? That wouldn't even be enough to buy that. So I don't even know why I run a YouTube channel, to be honest with you. Maybe it has a lot to do with you kind folks. Absolutely. So let's get to some of the comments here, man, for sure. This is, I swear crypto's a cult. It could be. There's a lot. I mean, it'd be worth $25 for me to just sit back and watch it crash and burn. I don't know. It would be the greatest financial espionage story of our time. Followed up quite simply to probably the sixth worst event in human history with the pandemic from early last year. So who knows? There's two different schools of thought. There would be schools of thought that would argue with you all day, up and down. I think I'm more on your side than anything. I think it would be really, really quite cool to have the ability to transact with a stored form of value where the value in and of itself was in the transaction and the security that existed around that said transaction. That is what Bitcoin means to me. I've never been an investor in it. I'm in the process of investing in the capacity that I feel comfortable with, which is at this point, because it's appropriate to declare to you, at a 0.5% of my portfolio, right? So $2,500, I feel comfortable with that. We'll see what happens. I'm still kind of unsure if that's the right move. I don't know. You've got a lot of different schools of thought on both sides. Should I invest in it? Should I not? Is this an opportunity? Is it going to zero? Is it going to 100,000? I don't really know. I think, with the utility that I've noticed with Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, both, I think it could find its place at some point. The price fluctuations are remarkable from day to day. They're absolutely remarkable. But no, I tend to agree with you, and I'll sit back and I'll be a spectator until I become an investor, and that's the way I'm looking to tackle the cryptocurrency opportunity, if indeed there is even one there to be had. To be honest with you, I mean, this thing could implode on itself. I think being that it's 10 years old, is that going to happen? I don't know. It's really hard for me to get my mind wrapped around it. I'm not a foregone expert on the topic, but I think it's worth looking at what's out there on the landscape. What are the different methods of owning cryptocurrency? What are the different opportunities that you have? Like the one that I'm exploiting through iTrust is the opportunity to own cryptocurrency in a Roth IRA, right? So if the thing does run to 10,000 in the account, at least it's tax protected until I'm 59, right? So good discussion altogether, man. It's absolutely worth it. And I'm making the decision, like I said, relatively light. I know people that invest all their money in cryptocurrency. I think that's absurd. I think that's just absolutely absurd. But different strokes for different folks, man, and that's what I'm doing, and that's what it is. All right. ETF investor. Well, that's good enough already, for sure. Love your message, Ryan. I'm 22 with 22 thou invested since I found your channel. So, yeah, I mean, those are real results for real people at 22 years old. The sky's the limit for you. Don't fall on tilt. All right. Stay true to your program. Stay hungry. Continue to apply. Continue to layer up. Continue to always evolve. And it's obvious, if you've got the 2 stacks of high society, that's fabulous. It's obvious that you're a student of the game, and I tip my hat to you. I've always said, when people come on and they say, hey, I've met this threshold, and you're staring down a big one at 25,000. That's a big threshold, because you've got 50, and then after 50 to 100, 100 is an awful, they're all big. They really are, but it's just a testament to, Rebecca just said, gosh, she just hit her $100,000 threshold in February, for crying out loud. And here we are a couple months removed of that, and she's surpassed what, 130? Yeah, this stuff does work. Now, does that mean we're immune to a market downturn in the near future, in the not so distant future, in the medium term future? Maybe we don't have one for the foreseeable future. I don't know. We don't talk like that. But you have two choices. Either you can sit on the sideline and wait for that inevitable opportunity to what? Just invest your money, which is very, very difficult. I came on during the pandemic low into March 2020, and I was like, yeah, I'm investing. And I guarantee people looked at me and they're like, you effing crazy, you idiot. Really? It's easy to sit here at an all-time high and say, yeah, just invest when the market's at an all-time low. This garbage, man. Freaking A, man. Show me how difficult that is. Because you've got everybody in your ear telling you how hard it is to do. And I think that's great, man. I thank you so much. That's the very fuel that keeps this fire burning. And I'm just the administrator of the business on the I2 for sure. But it's folks like you that come on and declare your success that means everything to me. It absolutely does, because with every one empowered investor, it does in fact embolden the message that we've got pushing through the channel. So thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate that. It's very, very cool. I'm gonna kind of scroll up here and see if I can't cherry pick a few if I can. Does it make sense to buy just one share of any given stock? It's a hell of a question, man. And I've evolved in this line of thinking. Here's the thing. When I apply my portfolio building strategy, and this is a great segue into what I'm going to declare to you now, I would say that on the onset, I'm going to answer this question and say, not really. Okay. However, I felt that way 5 years ago. Now, with the power of M1 Finance, if you look at my 71 stock portfolio that's very, very carefully broken down, 10 ways the S&P. I do leave real estate out of that. I'm very open with that. But the rest of the 10 sectors in the S&P, the way I've got it broken down in the slices, they've got about one share, two shares, three shares in some cases. Now, there's about a $20,000 bill in that. Okay, so not an enormous amount of money, but not an insignificant amount of money, i.e., $100. So if you're looking to take my 71 stock portfolio and put $100 in it, that's pretty irrelevant, right? And I think if you could build up to a single stock portfolio, if you've got $500 and you want to put your first 5 stocks to work, that could make sense as long as you understand the importance to continue to grow upon that and add to it over time. So it really just depends. It's a hell of a question. It really is. And I don't want to just say, no, absolutely not, because in most cases, the answer to that is it's probably not appropriate, but it could be. It could be in the right portfolio and with a certain level of scale applied to it. Like my 71 is all dividend stocks, all of it. And even though I own one or two shares of each, now this is on the 19,800 whatever it is, about 20 grand. Even those dividends that pay out are just a few bucks a piece, but those few bucks add up. And I think when you're looking at a $500 portfolio, it's going to be a matter of pennies. Okay. So the solution to that is really try to save up to some level of starting capital that can kind of make a dent on this deal. $1,000, $500, $1,500, right? If you can prove to me that you can put that aside and say, you know what, man, I'm ready, I'm serious, save that up, make your start. You say, Ryan, I can do 25. Fantastic. You're getting the point, right? And then it becomes more appropriate to look at those one stock portfolios to build up over time, because they will in fact grow as you fund it, especially with M1. It's going to be 125, 158, and then eventually you're going to have multiple shares of each of those respective stocks within the portfolio. Lots of options nowadays, free of charge too. M1 Finance, you're not going to pay for that. I would have never answered that question 5 years ago in the manner that I just answered it for you. So thank you for that. That was a good one. I really appreciate it. How's the boxing going? I think it's one sport that you learn. You're breaking points. Yeah, no doubt about it, man. I think I dislocated my middle finger for sure. I wrapped this hand. This is my jab hand. But it's a lot of fun, man. It really there's some cost and some benefit to everything you do. And me, I take that element very very seriously. I've been on a pretty good R&R stretch here, spending a lot of time at the pool and just kind of taking it easy. Definitely taking a break from YouTube, man. This stuff will turn you into a psycho, man. It's crazy. I enjoy the live stream. That's why I do it. I do it every Friday on schedule. No big deal, and it's a lot of fun. Thanks for asking, man. I appreciate it. Let's scan to the top here, baby. Let's get going here. Make some shout outs here. This is my first week back in the job, man. Yeah, it's kind of ironic. It shows, what that can mean to somebody like Christopher Blaine. Why don't you just quit everything, man? Just put everything in AMC, man. Get that portfolio up to 82 million. Mm-hmm. No, he's already a winner. He doesn't need to do that. He's looking for quality of life and the meaning of why. Mm-hmm. Just like a true searcher that I know that he is. Absolutely. Rebecca's in the house. Great to see you. It's fantastic. Thank you for making your way in. Bob says, "Where is everybody?" I said, "Oh, I've yet to show up to a live stream and have people not show up, man. So we're going to keep on doing this. I foresee this project going for a long, long time. I enjoy it. It's a staple on the channel. I may digress from the 10-minute again, the orgasmic videos every 10 minutes. I don't see a lot of value in it, and quite frankly, I really don't enjoy doing it. I enjoy podcasting. I enjoy this. This is one of the greatest things that I do. I enjoy reviewing companies, and that's very lucrative. So it helps keep me energized. It helps keep me understanding that the project isn't necessarily for naught because everybody's time is valuable, guys. That's a fact. Yours is. I don't look to, you get my full effort on this 60 minutes, man. This is your time, baby. I totally understand that. And if you tune into the I2 live stream and you feel like this is not for you, or you could be spending your time elsewhere in better served, absolutely, you go for it. Don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out. It's fine with me. I don't care. And that's the realistic approach that you get on my channel anyway. Really, I'm not trying to entertain you. I'm really not. All right. Very cool, very cool. Cruising down, I got Antanas in the group. Fantastic. Always like to shout out Antanas. I'd throw a wrench if you and I could, but I'd have to switch over to YouTube and do that. Homer J, very good. Jomer J gives me a thumbs up. Fantastic. It's awesome. And cruising here. Jamie's in the house. Whatchamacallit? Absolutely. What a great candy bar from the 80s. Absolutely. Thank you. Matt wants clarification on the 82 million. If you haven't got that yet, you didn't ask if you could highlight my portfolio on the stream. You're right. You're right. Go ahead and have the attorney send over the letter, Matt. I do apologize. Not that it'll stand up in the court of law. I do apologize, but yeah, that's I'm really out of line there for sure. It was kind of a cumulative shot of what I thought maybe all of the YouTube channels combined would render. I don't know. It's probably a hell of a lot more than that. I don't know. 82 million? Maybe that's pretty low. I don't know. It's good to see you, brother. Happy Friday to you. Hope all's well. Hope all's well with work and life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Absolutely fantastic. Just to be considered a mystery. Chase is in the house. What's going on, Chase? Can't believe it's Friday already. The older I get, the faster time goes. The less I care about money, the more money I have. The older I get, the faster my kids grow. The older I get, the more I appreciate things. Yeah, you want me to keep going? Or you want me to shut up? I can. It's great to see you, Chase. Thanks for making it. And Jason says, "Let's get it. Let's get it." I am. I'm getting it. I'm gonna get it for like 17 more minutes, man. Then I'm gonna sign off and hang out with my girl. That's what we're gonna do tonight. That's what we're gonna do. It's great to see you, Jay. Hope all's well with you, my brother. It's great to see you, man. Great to see you. A big shout out to J Mac for sure. Very cool to see. There's only one J Mac. When I see that icon, it's like, yeah, there's only one of them. I can't pull that out. I can't even grow one anymore. I've never been able to grow one. It's legit, man. Spice to the moon for sure. Yeah, I saw that today. That really surprised me. I think Matt owns a pretty good position in that. I don't want to put him on the spot. I don't know if there was some liquidations on the way up, but that closing in on 60, there's some big money there. Big money. Absolutely. I think they got their charter, I believe, from the US government. I believe he'll probably talk about it more. So if you're interested in Spice Virgin Galactic, man, I don't know if Jason owns any shares of that too. But I mean, look, infinite freaking way of making some moolah in the stock market, no doubt. Matty moolah. Okay, there you go. See, I gave proper attribution, Matt. So don't get on me for that. All right. I'm allowed one strike in the night. Okay, that was the 82 mil. But yeah, some good money being made there for sure. Yeah, I'm very satisfied with my speculative play where we stand in the portfolio. I the action in Hyliion has changed immensely, and I think the last interview really told me a lot. And in one word, if I could summarize for you from an investor's perspective, what stuck out to me, the word international. hmm International business. Yeah, yeah. Go check that out. It's very, very cool. I can't remember the name of the podcast. It's escaping me. I knew it before I came on. I wanted to share that with you guys, but it was quite good. A very, very good interview. All right. I do want to go over real quick portfolio percentages. I had this broken down for you guys, and I promised you guys if you were a new portfolio builder, and if I asked you, I said, what's a portfolio? And you looked at me and you were like, huh? A funny word? I don't know. I'll declare to you now. The passive element of my portfolio is comprised of $120,321, which represents 23% of the portfolio. Not bad. So you look at it, if I had a $100,000 portfolio, it'd be about $23,000 allocated to a passive element. Now, that passive element is made up exclusively of ETFs and index funds. That's all I invest in. Okay. Triple Qs, VTI, VOO, some index funds that are comprised in the TSP, 23%. Not bad. The next, dividends. The dividend element of the portfolio, $188,705 represents about 36% of the portfolio. Not bad. So, for all of the folks that worship the dividend growth investing strategy, I know there was a phase there during YouTube, and I know me and Jason kind of sat back for a while and watched the landscape, and it was like everybody was like, "You do this, and if you do something else, I'm going to kick your ass." And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? It works, but it works until it doesn't work, and then you end up with a Boeing, and it ends up at $90, and you're like, God dang, that was a good idea, but it kind of loses its luster. The whole idea with my application is, yeah, I acknowledge how important it is, which it is. I don't mean to discredit dividend growth investing. It's fabulous. But, and it is the lion's share of my portfolio at 36%. That is single stock, gems, large cap, dividend paying companies to fall into this category. All right. This is the M1 portfolio. This is the single stock that's owned in the Roth, et cetera, et cetera. The next is growth. And a lot of you guys might be surprised on this. This is comprised on non-dividend paying CRM, Salesforce, Alibaba, Amazon, Google, Facebook of the world. Okay. So those large capitalization growth companies that don't pay a dividend. Hyliion is part of this, which I own a lot of Hyliion right now. $149,295, which is about 28% of the portfolio, right? So growth. Now, if you're hearing me out and you're just hearing these six-figure numbers and you're like, ah, dang, that's pretty crazy. It's not really that crazy, man. It's wealth building 101. And the real takeaway is to understand my strategic pillars. It doesn't matter if you have 120 to whoop-de-doo in the portfolio. It doesn't matter. What matters is you heard me out on passive, dividend growth, cryptocurrency, I've already mentioned at 0.5%, and cash. Cash right now sitting at 53,497. Okay? Which, if you guys know, working at 530, a little over $500,000 on the portfolio, 10% renderings in cash. Some schools of thought would think you're crazy, Ryan. What the hell are you doing with all that cash? I beg to differ. I've been skinned a few times by not having a little bit of cash, emergency purposes, etc. I would somewhat disagree and agree with both schools of thought. That's just what I've got right now, and that's what makes sense to me. 10% rendered to cash. So when you sit back and you understand the pillars in the portfolio, what did I just say? Passive, dividends, growth, crypto, and cash. That's a portfolio right there. Okay. And say, Ryan, do I have to have it all at the same time? Of course not. You don't. That should be your goal, to add those layers in the portfolio in due time and as appropriate. But, start with the passive element. You could do the passive element for the rest of your life and be happy that you did. You really could. Be an investor, live to fight another day, go do something else. Okay. If you really want to get serious about the investing game and you want to get into dividend growth investing, you're going to have to learn to analyze stock, at least from a fundamental perspective. I would not wish anybody to learn technical analysis unless you're really interested in that art, because it is. And in my assessment over a long time of investing, I've identified that people either resonate with one or the other for the most part. Okay. I look at stock charts. I look at channeling ranges, but I don't use technical analysis and how the form of the chart gives me an idea of whether or not to buy said asset. Okay. I'm a fundamentalist. That's what I look at. Okay. You got to look at that stuff. And then especially becomes more important with growth, with understanding the risk that's involved and the tolerance that you need to have to success in that. All right. So 23% in passive, 28 in growth, 36 in dividends, a 0.5% in crypto, and 10% in cash. That's how it breaks down. Now, the real key on the I2, and I'm going to give you some skeleton keys, which I always do. The real key here is 307,000 of those dollars tax protected. I'll be able to render whatever that is at 59.5, right now 307, potential to 59.5, gives me a couple doubling cycles. That could be $1 million right there. Fully tax protected dollars at 59.5, when I hit that mark, represents 58% to the portfolio. It's a niche on the channel. It's something that I talk about all the time. Some people are down on Roth IRAs. They don't like it. That's fine. That's their prerogative. It's not mine. Okay. And I've been able to build the wealth up to about 58%, etc. I want to draw a distinction as we kind of close down the lesson element of the live stream. Self-directed investing, what I just disclosed to you, is going to be a far cry from a managed portfolio. Okay. What I mean by that is what I just gave you with passive investing, dividend growth, and cash. None of them will be recommended by a financial planning institution. If you go sit down, and especially if you act like you don't know what you're talking about, chances are you probably don't know what you're talking about. They will take you to the cleaners in a very, very professional way. Trust me, they're going to be nice about it. Okay. But they will sell you mutual funds and bonds if you want. Okay. They're not going to allow you to sit on a bunch of cash because they don't get paid for that. They're not going to allow you to do ETFs and index funds. It's too low cost. There's too much benefit to you as the end user. Dividend growth, they know how powerful that is, but they definitely don't want you picking up the phone every single day and being like, God, this is incredible, man, but why are you charging me for my dividend reinvestment program in my IBM stock? They're not going to do that. So they don't recommend it. They don't. They're going to recommend you a suite of mutual funds. That really is the distinction between an independent investor program and a managed program that is traditionally the status quo, that of which we look to challenge on the I2. To close down the lesson element, and then I'll get back to some comments as we close down the live stream. I told you, fastest 60 minutes on YouTube. Never ceases to freaking amaze me. It's unbelievable. I can't push out enough information. That's why I got to do it every Friday. The X Factor for me, Ryan, on the Independent Investor channel, okay? AKA I2, right? The image that exists therein, right? Destroy the image, destroy the man. It's Enter the Dragon. Anyway, I digress. X Factor. The X Factor in what has contributed. Some of you may be sitting back and they're like, how the hell does this guy have a $500,000? How the fuck does he do this? I look in the mirror sometimes and I'm like, how the hell you do that? God dang, that's pretty impressive, Ryan. God dang. Oh, yeah, it's you. That's great, man. Disconnect from your money. It's a good thing. Trust me. The X Factor, my job. Number one, my job. I wouldn't be able to do this if I was just like, I don't know, growing it on the money tree on the backyard. The constant inflow kind of helps provide that security and base, etc. From an organic perspective, baseline. I just said I had one of the toughest weeks I've ever had in my job this week. I feel so satisfied right now. I came home, went and sat by the pool with my wife. It was awesome, man. It was liberating. You don't know how good that tastes unless you've been really, really tested from week to week, boom, on whatever profession it is that you choose. The pension. I invest the way I do, and I've had this discussion with some of my good friends in the community. And Jason, really, he's the one that he's like, you going after that pension, Ryan? I am, and I invest accordingly, right? I do take into consideration that maybe I can be a little more aggressive than some because I do have that guaranteed pension. If in fact I make to 20, right? There's no guarantee until you're there. Okay. Only 20% of military service members make it to that mark. Only 20%. A very, very surprising statistic. But I'm 4 years away and I can guarantee I can continue to breathe for at least 4 more years. All right. Doesn't do a hell of a lot of good if I just die after I retire. But anyway, I digress. Insurance, that's another big one. The side hustle. I consider the Independent Investor channel a very, very serious project for me, but it is in fact a side hustle for me. Okay. When I don't want to do it, I don't do it. If it was a full-time job, yeah, do it every day. Got to do it every day, man. It's a job. And punch the card. Hey, I'm here for YouTube. I'm here to put in my orgasm video, right? Side hustle. Okay. It is a side hustle, but I can tell you that it absolutely helps the bottom line. Every time my wife sells something on eBay, that's a side hustle money, affiliate money, right? Some advertising money, etc. I don't make squat for the live stream, but I'm going to continue to do it because I just love the hell out of it and I love you guys. I'm going to continue to do it. All right. And the fact that I'm independent, the name implies a lot, and I really want you guys to take this away. The disparity between the independent program and the managed program is not to be underestimated. Okay, the very fact that the portfolio amounts that I just disclosed to you guys is carried out with $530,000 of assets with a cost basis that is almost non-existent should really be the X factor and takeaway from understanding, or at least asking the question. Maybe you don't even know. What's the expense over my stuff? What am I paying to invest? And I know a lot of overseas investors, they're very envious of our opportunity here in the United States, and you should be. You should. The irony in the whole thing is there's a lot of people right here in our backyard that don't understand the opportunity that they have. And they just, it's okay. Ole, it's okay. I'll get to it tomorrow. Let's go shopping, honey. It's like, nah, lock it in a little bit, man. Take a little bit more ownership over your program, guys. So with that, I got a couple minutes, man. I'll wrap up the live stream. I do want to scroll down here and make sure. Matt says he's hot. He's a hot man. He's very hot with that beard that just sticks out. It's like, God dang, it's crazy. Jamie says not an ETF fan, but honestly, I believe that beginners need the peace of mind index strategy. That's the inherent lesson. I don't know. I've had a different impression about ETFs. I've done nothing but make a fortune with them. Yeah, and it doesn't take a whole lot of effort to do so. It doesn't, and I think it absolutely can be very, very good for new investors. I never said mutual funds were bad, right? If you do your research and pick the right mutual fund and you really like that managed element, it can work for you, right? At least jam it into a self-directed Roth IRA. So the only thing you're on the hook for is the expense ratio, which predominantly are much, much higher than an index fund. 1% average. I've seen them up to 1.67. Very expensive, right? So you can win with those products. Really, it's just a matter of picking the poison how you wish to gain your exposure. So very cool. And my brother from another mother, fantastic. He says, good day to grab a few more SoFi. I don't know. I called this. It's the disparity between the warrants. And I reviewed back through the comments and were like, Ryan, you suck. You can make a ton of money with warrants. I agree. I swing trade the warrants. What I said was I wasn't going to take it to redemption because this garbage happens right here, where a good company like SoFi just seemingly is looking to be drug by the warrants. I mean, could you imagine the stock at, 31.50 and the warrants at 20? Of course not. This is what happens, man. And I honestly think that the payoff comes from the people who are initially involved on the onset of a company. Regular folks like me, like who's making money with warrants right now in SoFi? I made a fortune trading them. Don't get me wrong. I'll trade the hell out of warrants, and I don't have a problem with buying them now. But buying them with the intent to actually convert them, good luck. Good luck. You want to own the company, man? I'm all for it, Dave, for sure. It's great to see you, my brother. Great to see you, and welcome home. Welcome home. That's fantastic. Great to see you. I assume you're home already, but if you're not, man, safe travels. If you're not, It'll be great to get you back on the mainland for sure. Got about a minute left here, guys. Get down through here. I could probably do another half hour on the live stream, but I won't do that. Well, those guys are probably firing up the mothership, and it'll be time to walk here pretty quick. All right. On Winston Go. I'd have to look and see how they're performing. Those performance and awareness videos that I roll out through the channel, and there are many. They're intriguing enough, but I do not invest in the companies. I'm very, very strict on this, very hard line, and I would deploy you guys to take them as awareness purposes only as well. There's a few companies that I've been pretty excited about that I've rolled out, but that's the end all be all for me. I don't. There's plenty of other companies that I'm interested and can invest. The very fact that I roll it out through the channel as an awareness piece, the last thing I want to do is be stuck with shares on it and be accused of pushing out an awareness piece, just like I do in Hyliion. I do the same freaking thing, but I'm also being compensated, and that compensation kind of nulls and voids me from owning the shares, and it's just a place that I won't go. So I'd have to look at it. I haven't looked at it since I pushed it out. All right. Thanks, Tim. Very cool. And Kenny's in the house for sure. What analysis do you do before buying a stock? Do you look at fund? Yes, I look at all of it. Yes, I look at all of it. Plus, if you look at my portfolio, honestly, there's not a lot of surprises in there. I think some people really try to base their investing thesis strictly upon the fundamentals. I think that's great. I think that could be somewhat short-sighted. If you look at my portfolio, there's a lot of very, very recognizable names. And I think investing in businesses that you know really does transcend. I think it can be scaled to the masses. I think people can really resonate with the idea of looking at an Apple computers and saying, wow, yeah, this is a viable investment, or a Johnson and Johnson, or a Microsoft, right? There's companies out there for everybody. Tesla. I mean, Tesla had a great week this week, right? So if you can resonate with the company and you can do those technical analysis and come to a thesis that makes sense to you as to why you want to enter the stock, that's wonderful. But all of the above, I look at a lot of different things, but I've run out of time, and it's something that I probably just need to roll out for an entire live stream. All right. I'm going to go ahead and cruise down here, see if I can't get any more shout outs in the live stream. Very, very good gallery. Very, very good discussion. We went a little bit over time tonight. Thank you so much for the opportunity to come on and hang out with you guys. 60 short minutes, man, not a big deal. Hopefully you got some value out of it, especially for those new investors making their way to the message for the first time. Want to welcome you guys as well. Remember, the success of the channel is predicated upon each and every one of your successes. Okay, don't come in and watch me because I've got an $82 million portfolio. All right, just a regular fella that started with $1,500. Trying to build a dream for myself and my household. And I would expect that you guys, through consuming the message that we put through on the independent investor channel, can make you that much more capable of meeting those ends. Guys, thank you so much. And we'll catch you next Friday, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time in the Independent Investor Channel live stream. Take it easy, guys. Be well, be safe. We'll catch you next week.